Nation to the 2025 podcast. I'm your host, Brad Alphin. Here to my left, we got Dan Moser. And on Teams call, we got Sean Williams and Benji Fielding. Last week, we did 423 installs. Incredible work.
Amazing.
Yeah, weather in a lot of the locations last week was a little rainy, but if you notice, the sales were pouring in. Detroit office last week with 161 installs.
So, just as a side note, we will not be sending out any more chairs to Mike Manhire's office.
Yeah, they're wild out there, but throwing in the sales. So 161 with Detroit, 88 with Lafayette. Mobile came in third with 65. Shreveport 36, Houma 26, Nashville 23, and Baton Rouge with 19 sales.
That's beautiful. We got dinner goal, okay? Last week, the winners were Mobile, Shreveport, and Baton Rouge. So shout out to those teams for coming together, making it happen, and hitting their dinner goal. This week, the goals will be for Detroit, 162, Lafayette, 89, Mobile, 67, Shreveport, 36, Houma, 26, and Nashville, 23, and rounding it out at the end, Baton Rouge with 20. So go round your teams up, go crush it, get that dinner goal, and get paid. We're going to go ahead and move on to the top 10 vets right now. So starting out with Trey Wood, 16 installs. Incredible work. Anybody that's done this long enough knows 16 is an incredible number to hit. You really have to go put in some serious effort to hit that.
He's a stud.
He is a stud. Jansen Markham, 15, so he's right there on his shirt tails. We got Ian Meyer in Louisiana with 13, and Mike Manhire with 13. We're going to come back to Mike here in just a second. Nate Barbier with 11, Ron Highshaw with 11, Caleb Harris with 10, Cole Hymas with 10. So amazing work. Just as a plug in there with Mike Manhire, managing the top office in the company with that many guys and then going out, and he did 6 on Saturday.
Yeah, I was talking to him on Saturday, and he said he had to just put his phone away for a minute, and he just went out and put the numbers in. We also forgot Cade DeBell with 13. He was right up there too. So incredible work for everybody. I know Jansen's getting married soon, so he's pushing numbers. Ron's got a little siesta coming up this week, so he's pushing numbers. And then Benji, take us away with the top 10 rookies.
Top 10 rookies. So number 1, we have Jonathan McKinney with 8, which is a massive week for a rookie. Ken Bellini with 6, Chase Richards with 6, Riley Sutton with 6. So a lot of close calls there. Gavin Olmeyer 5, Jude Torres 4, Rhett Bussell 4, Gunnar Cooper 4, Malachi Sanders with 4, and Tyler Wright with 4 as well to finish it off. Awesome rookie numbers.
Yeah, so if you want to be a top 10 rookie, you got to push into the 10 numbers, push into 4 to get in the top 10. So I'm excited to see that take off. May is always a big month for rookies, and just to see the production happen.
It's going to be exciting. Sean, can you take it away with the top 10 vets for last month?
Yep, top 10 vets. This was, for me, the most motivating thing to hit each month. So for April is awesome because most of these guys are part month. But Jansen's number 1 with 52 on the month. Ian Meyer came in at 48 as second, which is awesome as his second year pushing the top guys on the leaderboard. Jackson Powell, 37. We see him up there consistently. Zach Richardson, 39. So Jackson's finance numbers pushed him above Zach. So there's a motivation to finance people. Good plug for Jackson. Nate Barbieri with 39. Caleb Harris with 37. Matt Nugent with 27. Trey Wood, 29. Derek Crapo, 29. And Brian Davis, 26. So now we're going into month of May. Some of these guys had partial months, full month. Have a good monthly goal and push towards it, because you can have you can not hit your goal for a week, but in a month you should be able to fix your down days and hit your month goal. So good job to you guys.
Yeah, Sean, you were always putting up huge numbers on the month. I remember years ago we would talk and we would chase the date, back when we were okay. If it was the 5th of the month, we wanted 5 sales. If it was 6th of the month, we wanted to be at 6. And you would just chase the date all month to where by the end of the month you're at 30. And then Sean just blew ahead and he started trying to double it to where if it was the 6th, he wanted to be at 12 sales. If it was the 20th, he wanted to be at 40, all the way up to 60 sales. So it's if you're a seasoned vet, that's kind of a good little tip just to see where am I at? Am I pacing? Am I tracking with the month, etc. So you might try that this month. It's pretty fun.
That'll be good. Benji, can you take it away with the rookies last month? This is huge.
Top 10 rookies in the number 1 spot. We have Malachi Sanders with 21 accounts, Jude Torres with 20 accounts, Brian Meyer with 17, Joseph Glazer with 15, Darius Austin with 15, Carter Lake with 14, Jake Crapo with 14, Dusty Harris 13, Zach White 13, Joseph Chatelaine with 13 installs. So that wraps up the top 10 rookies on the month. If you're not in there, fight to get in there. I seem to get a text every week with people saying, hey, I had an account go bad, but it's fixed. I already fixed it. Can you make sure that's reflected on the numbers? So if you're not paying attention to that stuff, make sure you are, because it helps.
Well, I think when you're a rookie, every little bit helps. Those late night trainings, those early morning trainings, even if you can meet up with one of the veterans or the top financiers 10, 20 minutes before the meetings to just kind of get those helpful tips. I know that's one thing. Malachi Sanders, as a shout out, I think kind of goes to prove and just show again why the opportunity is so incredible. He was working as a lending officer, mortgage lending officer, and just not super happy with where he was heading, and he was kind of content there and not really growing, and came out. Did not have an amazing start. I think for a lot of rookies that are getting out there, we have, I think, estimated about 30 rookies that haven't made it out to the field yet. And I think it's important to kind of look at those guys that are ahead of you, touch base with them. Malachi would be one. You can ask him. He did not have the most stellar start ever. Wasn't actually going to go out for the summer, was going to do a more year-round model, pulled the trigger on coming out, and has just been killing it every week in one of the top spots there, and then number 1 spot for the month. So I think it's just a true testament to sticking with it, following the fundamentals, and reaching out to those top financiers, because he's financed quite a few jobs.
Yeah, he's making big paychecks. And I think also to note, he went on every single preseason. He was trying to do a year-round model. So a lot of that early rookie rust he was able to knock off to start. So if you're brand new, don't get discouraged. Just keep grinding, keep pushing, and the numbers will come. That leads us to the deal of the week from a rookie, actually. Tyron Raymond out of Detroit. I helped him with his sale. Nice older gal, wanted everything. She wanted a whole home automation system. Here is his pay on the deal. So he financed out at 130 MMR. He made his base pay of 300, finance bonus of 100, activation finance of 200. So he made $600 up front. Assuming he hits the 50 pay jump, which he's well tracking to pass that, he'll have a $200 back end and a $520 back end MMR bonus. So grand total on that one deal is $1,320. So Tyron, congrats on that sale. That is pretty dang awesome. So
yeah, I think you learn to go do 1 or 2 of those a week and stack your numbers, and it really changes the trajectory of the pay scales. I mean, it's kind of phenomenal there. So as far as the tech tip, so want to just go over a few things here, and shout out to behind the scenes. We're going to add the video tutorial, but we just wanted to talk about the different reasons you would make a case.
Honestly, anything to do with this job, you can make a case for. So you'll just click in Copilot there, have it load, click on the 3 bars in the top left-hand corner. You'll go down to where it says resources. You'll click general shield cases, and then you can put in the subject line, update direct deposit info. Need to change how I get paid. Please as soon as possible. Now, let's say this was on a Monday morning. Payroll closes out Tuesday morning, so we would want to set the priority level as hot so that they can look at that and get that changed out as soon as possible. And so you can click, that's obviously a new status. If it was something you inquired about 2 days ago, haven't received an update, you click in progress. And then at that point, you could raise that level to hot so that it could get noticed a little bit quicker. And then the general shield question and general inquiry, or you can click shield inquire. It honestly doesn't matter. The same department is going to see all of these issues, and then you'll just go ahead and click save. That will submit it, and then you will receive an email with a status update. Okay, so that's how you make a case and inquire about those issues, and that's going to be equipment being wrong on the inquiry and the pay tab. That's going to be MMR issues, a QA fail. Any question that you have, you can go ahead and just make a case about it. Patrick Murphy is tagged on those, so he sees all of them, and then they get directed to the appropriate department if they need to go outside of the team that assists all of Evo. So thanks for watching.
If you are reaching out to your managers first, let's tether back on that a little bit. Let's make the case first. If you don't hear anything within, if you message in the morning and you don't hear anything by the evening, then yeah, you can hit your manager up. But let those back office people do their job. If you make the case and you're not making it at 8 p.m. at night, we've had that happen a lot of times. We've checked into it and guys are making a case at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and then they message us at 9 a.m. Hey, I didn't hear anything back. Well, those people aren't in the office yet. So do give them a time to kind of respond to that. I don't know if you have anything else on that, Brad.
Yeah, I mean, especially with pay, it's fun to get excited about our paycheck. But what happens is they install it, then they have to check. They manually go in, they match up with the tech installed, and they calculate your pay.
Yeah, to audit.
And then it'll turn to approve. So until it's approved, I wouldn't really make a case. But watch it. I mean, I'm proud of all of you guys for staying on top of it.
Yep.
And if anything is off, let us know because they will update it. If not this week, you'll get it cleaned up and paid next week. So Benji, take us away with the competitions this week because we got the blueprint coming.
We got the blueprint coming. Monthly incentives are live, so we'll have a monthly incentive each month of the summer. This month is the blueprint, so you guys should have the posters in your offices. It's also posted on the Instagram, so if you're not following the Instagram, give it a follow. It's Join Evo Pros. Week 1, as a rookie, you have to sell 2 accounts, so have 2 installs. And as a vet, 4 installs to get the Evo t-shirt, which we're hoping to send out a lot of those. I think all the numbers are super attainable. And then the following weeks, there will be new metrics. It continuously gets harder to earn as you go up the prizes. But that's it for the incentive. This week's pro spotlight is Sean Williams.
Yeah. So maybe this was just us being that way proactive and finding one of the other pros out there. But I was going to just talk about my summers that I've had where I sold over 300 accounts. I did 330 for 7 years in a row, and kind of what it took to do that. And I think really it started in the things I learned, because it took me a couple years to get there. And my first year is where I started really working on my craft to figure out how to widen my sales funnel. And that's why I wanted to talk about is the people that we're not selling that we should be selling, or we haven't learned how to. A lot of guys have mentioned in the past that, when I would get dropped off, that I would always ask to get dropped off first. And I'd usually have a sell by the time the rest of the van was dropped off. And that was my goal, was to find the American flag, the older person in the neighborhood. I'd sniff them out. And then I was good at signing up older people. For me, was getting them to agree their area had changed, talking about their city specifically and how things had changed in their city, their street, their community, their subdivision. And what you'll find is there's never a place that hasn't changed. And as you get really good at knowing the places that you're working, those people are going to listen and agree with you. And there's going to be, at that point, you'll have something that you connect with them on. You can get them to listen to what value you have to build for them in their home. And so I was dropped off in a retirement community about 3 weeks into doing the job. Everyone to live in there had to be over 65. And I did really bad my first week is big. And then the next week I went back there and sold 23 accounts because I decided to do all day. And that's really where I learned how to sell old people. And I feel like that teed me up. This last year, going into last preseason, so a year ago, I was sitting at like 180 preseason accounts. And me and Benji committed to go on each preseason trip. And I, to myself, said, hey, I want to figure out what I need to do better to sell more. And what I learned then is how to start every day with a sell and how to finish every day with a sell. So I made sure it was the first time I ever did this. I made a note in my phone. I wrote out the week. I put my goals in for each day, and then I put a schedule for times. And if I knew I was going to be out knocking by 1 a.m. or 1 p.m., 1 in the afternoon, I'd make sure whenever I started, I had an appointment with somebody who both the spouses weren't home. And I made sure I ended each day with multiple appointments of people. And I noticed that every day I started with a sale because I would leave the apartment to an appointment and I would end the day going to an appointment, and everything else just kind of followed. And I feel like, so I think,
How many accounts did you sell that last week, that preseason? Because I think you had like one of your best weeks ever. However long you've been doing
so
this.
that's what it kind of slowly went up. I took time to focus on what I needed to do better. The last one was 37. I had a couple of them that the tech installed the system in the wrong house because I signed up neighbors, or else it would have been 39 because they canceled because we put the wrong system in the wrong house, which was funny. But it's 37 that week. But every week that I focused on what I need to do to widen my own funnel, even that preseason, I started from like 20 to 23 to 25 and ended with 37. So if somebody who's done it for 15 years has room to widen their funnel and selling more, everybody in the company does. And I think it just takes writing it out and making a goal of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's changing your paradigm too. You know, if you get dropped off in a neighborhood and it's all old people and you're like, man, I hate this, I'm going to struggle for a week, you're going to struggle for a week. If you look at it as a challenge of like, I'm going to be the best at selling old people or young people or new move-ins. It's funny. Like, I love a new move-in, and you'll drop a guy into a new move-in neighborhood and they're like, oh, these are all too nice. You know? Oh, everybody's rich here. Well, yeah, they have great credit. Oh, everybody's poor here. Okay, yeah, they need it. So there's always a glass half full with it, but widen that funnel to where that's how you'll stack the numbers. If all you can sell is young couples that just moved in, you'll probably sell 30, 40 accounts in the summer. But if you can sell young couples and
Bulls,
you're going to be 40, 50, owls, 60, 70, and you can just stack it up until you become Sean. So that's a great tip. And like I said, guys, the summer is just getting rolling. There's still plenty of time. I think there's 17 weeks till the end of August left. That's a lot of time to hit your numbers. So,
and a lot of guys still coming out. Like I said, I think we calculated roughly about 30 guys still getting ready to hit market. And that's going to give you, I think, a kind of a new wind in your sales feel sometimes when there's new blood out there. But be willing to share those experiences you've already had and those tips down with those guys. We always had a saying, managing offices, that a rising tide raises all ships. And so it's important that you guys band together. This is the time where we do see some plateau. Like a lot of the rookies, they gain that experience, and so they either start to talk a lot and say a lot about nothing, and we kind of have to remember to go back to those fundamentals and just stay focused and hit those numbers.
Yeah, make it a goal for everybody in your office to hit the blueprint shirt. The numbers are very attainable. Yeah, rally around each other. Go put it on the board and mark it off. Let's send to everybody a shirt this week. So until next week, thanks guys.
Thank you.
Oh, we froze.
No, we're not froze. They froze.
We're just not moving.
Just kidding.